My husband's work emergency excuse fell apart when I checked his location. Following him revealed a family secret his parents had buried. I, 34F, have been married for almost a decade now. We have 2 kids, a mortgage, and what I thought was a happy life together. My husband has always been dedicated to his job at a marketing firm, often working late to meet deadlines or handle client emergencies. I never questioned it, until last month. It started with small inconsistencies. The office dinner that no one else mentioned. The work emergency that his colleague knew nothing about when I bumped into her at the grocery store. The smell of unfamiliar perfume that definitely wasn't mine. My stomach twisted with each new discovery, but I kept pushing the thoughts away. We'd been through too much together for me to jump to conclusions. But last Thursday, he texted that he'd be working late again. Something in me snapped. I called his office after hours. No answer. I checked our location sharing app. It showed him across town, nowhere near his workplace. My hands shook as I grabbed my keys. The kids were at my mother's for the night, and for once, I was glad for the freedom to follow my instincts. I drove to the location on my phone, finding myself outside a small Italian restaurant in a part of town we rarely visited. I parked across the street, my heart pounding so hard I could barely breathe. And there he was, through the window, sitting at a corner table. He was smiling, that genuine smile I hadn't seen in months, and reaching across the table to hold someone's hand. I couldn't see who he was with from my angle. A waitress moved, and I caught a glimpse of dark hair, but nothing more. My imagination filled in the blanks with every worst-case scenario. Was it a co-worker? An old flame? Someone younger? I sat frozen in my car for 20 minutes, trying to decide whether to confront him or drive away and pretend I never saw anything. Then they stood up to leave, and I finally saw who my husband had been meeting secretly for what I later learned had been weeks. It was his brother. His brother who had been estranged from our family for 5 years after a massive falling out with their parents. The brother my husband had told me he never wanted to speak to again after he'd disappeared without a word, abandoning his wife and child and leaving behind a trail of debt and broken promises. I drove home in a daze, arriving before my husband. When he walked in an hour later with his usual sorry for working late excuse, I couldn't hold back anymore. "I saw you tonight," I said, my voice surprisingly steady. "At Marcello's. With your brother." The color drained from his face. He sank onto the couch, head in his hands. "How did you know?" "That doesn't matter. What matters is you've been lying to me for weeks. Why couldn't you just tell me you were seeing him again?" What came next was a 3-hour conversation that changed everything I thought I knew about our family. His brother hadn't abandoned his family as we'd been told. He'd been struggling with addiction and had checked himself into rehab, asking everyone to keep it quiet until he was stable. My husband's parents had twisted the narrative, ashamed of having an addict in the family. They'd pressured my husband to cut ties completely. For years, my husband believed the lies his parents told. But 3 months ago, he ran into his brother at a gas station, clean, sober, and working as a counselor for others battling addiction. They started meeting secretly because my husband was afraid of how I'd react, given everything I'd been told about his brother. "I didn't know how to tell you that everything we believed was wrong," he said, tears streaming down his face. "That my parents lied to all of us. That I abandoned my brother when he needed me most." I was angry, not about him reconnecting with his brother, but about the deception. The secret meetings. The lies about working late. The complete lack of trust in me as his partner. "You should have told me," I said. "Did you really think I wouldn't understand?" "I was ashamed," he admitted. "And scared. My parents have controlled the narrative for so long, I didn't know how to break free from it." Update 1. It's been 2 weeks since that night. After the initial shock wore off, I asked to meet his brother myself. We met for coffee, just the 3 of us. Seeing them together, I noticed the family resemblance I'd somehow missed before. The same laugh, the same gestures. His brother was nothing like the monster my in-laws had described. He was soft-spoken, thoughtful, and clearly working hard on rebuilding his life. He showed me photos of his daughter, now 7, who he sees regularly. He talked about his ex-wife, who had supported his recovery even after their marriage ended. He spoke about his 3 years of sobriety with quiet pride. "I wanted to reach out to you both," he told me. "But after what happened with my parents, I was afraid of being rejected again." My husband squeezed his brother's shoulder. "That won't happen again. I promise." That night, my husband and I had another long talk. About trust. About family. About the toxic influence his parents had on our lives without us even realizing it. "I should have trusted you with the truth," he said. I was caught between loyalty to my parents and loyalty to my brother. I didn't know how to navigate it.
And where was the loyalty to me? I asked. To our marriage?
He had no answer for that. Update 2. Yesterday, we had dinner with my in-laws. My husband had decided it was time to confront them about the lies they'd spread about his brother. I offered to stay home with the kids, but he wanted me there. "We're a team," he said.
"I need your strength."
The dinner started pleasantly enough. My mother-in-law asked about work, and my father-in-law talked about their upcoming cruise. Then my husband took a deep breath and said, "I've been seeing my brother again." The silence that followed was deafening. My mother-in-law's fork clattered against her plate. My father-in-law's face turned a dangerous shade of red. "What did you just say?" his father demanded. "I've reconnected with him. He's been sober for 3 years. He's doing well. After everything he put this family through?" His mother's voice shook. "How could you betray us like this?" My husband remained calm. "The only betrayal was the lies you told about him. He didn't abandon his family. He was getting help. You were the ones who abandoned him when he needed support." What followed was ugly. Years of secrets and resentments poured out. My father-in-law threatened to cut my husband out of their will. My mother-in-law cried and accused us of breaking her heart. We left before dessert was served, my husband shaking but standing taller than I'd seen him in years. "Are you okay?" I asked in the car.
"No," he said honestly.
"But I will be. We will be." Update 3. It's been a month now. My husband's parents still aren't speaking to us, but surprisingly, I'm okay with that. The toxic cloud they cast over our lives has lifted. My husband has started therapy to work through his complicated family history and the guilt he carries for believing the worst about his brother for so long. Last weekend, his brother came over with his daughter, our niece, who we'd never met before. Our children were shy at first, but within an hour, they were playing together as if they'd known each other all their lives. Watching them, I felt a mixture of joy and sadness for the years lost. My husband and his brother sat on our back porch, talking quietly. I brought them drinks and overheard his brother say, "I forgave you a long time ago. Now you need to forgive yourself." Later that night, after everyone had left and the kids were in bed, my husband held me close. "Thank you," he whispered.
"For what?"
"For following me that night. For being angry but still listening. For helping me find my way back to the truth. I'm still processing everything that's happened. The lies. The secrets. The way one family's shame nearly destroyed 2 brothers. I'm still hurt that my husband didn't trust me enough to tell me the truth from the beginning. But I also understand that family dynamics are complicated, and breaking free from toxic patterns takes courage. We're rebuilding now, not just my marriage, but our extended family. It looks different than before, with some relationships strengthened and others possibly gone forever. But it feels more honest. More real. Sometimes the hardest truths are the ones closest to home. Sometimes the person your spouse is secretly meeting isn't a lover but a ghost from the past trying to find their way back. And sometimes discovering those secrets, painful as it may be, is exactly what your family needs to heal.